Hi everybody, and welcome to my channel and my floss tube. Those of you who may know, I'm new to floss tubing in 2025 and also pretty new to cross stitching. And I had some issues. I thought when I first started doing floss tube and I saw people had so many projects and whips, I thought, oh, I could never do that. But I'm telling you, my things are steadily growing. Although I think there's going to be a limit as to how many I work on at a time. I don't think I'm going to get up to the 50, 60, although I think I may have that many right now, but we're going to gradually work those down. And I have been able to spend lots of hours on cross stitching, which has been good because I rip out and start over almost as much as I complete. But I find myself having to stop and take a lot out. Some of them are inconsequential. I don't worry about those. It's a learning curve for me. That's why I haven't invested in any silks, that kind of thing. I really feel like before I invest that much financially, I need to be better, a little bit better at what I'm doing. So at least not making mistakes in things as simple as just getting off on my counts so frequently. So, which is my major problem. I mean, I'm gradually improving on my threads, looking more even and better, and so that my stitching is looking better. I mean, I can see the improvement in that in the same piece that because I've worked on them in phases. Now, I have these life changes happening, and for several reasons. Most importantly, I have found myself gaining a lot of weight. None of my clothes fit. I'm wearing my old junk clothes all the time. Because I have gained so much weight since I had an injury and had an illness, and I quit hiking, but I kept on eating like I was still hiking. And I've gained a lot of weight. And I would venture it's going to take 1.5 years, 2 years to get all of this weight off if I do it in a healthy way. So so I need to not, even though I love sitting and stitching a lot like I've been doing, I need to be doing more physical. Every morning when I get up, I will be working on a focus project, and then every evening I will be working on some of that whips, whichever ones I decide I'm going to put in that queue, and each one will get 2 evenings a month. And that's kind of that is my plan for right now. And then I'll go into the rest of my whip stash and pull one forward. Now there's also going to be, the focus will only happen 5 days a week. The focus project that I'm planning on stitching on. The other 2 days a week will be stitch-alongs with some of these stamped patterns that I have. The stamped patterns I have decided are purely going to be used for those stitch-alongs because they'll work well in that I don't really have to count or do anything. So they're stitch-alongs with people on the video, and they're doing some other project that they want to do, and we're either chit-chatting or listening to quiet, calming music, that type of thing. And so it's meant to be just a social time kind of combined with quiet time, just contemplation. So and that's going to happen. I'm going to be doing 2 of those, not for this channel, but for my vlog and also for my faith-based channel. So I'll still show them in my whips as we go, whenever I do a monthly whip thing. But that's just kind of how I'm going to do the stitching. So, and I'll have 2 different whips, one for one of the channels and one for the other. And now for right now, I want to go through things that I have in my queue, things that I'm currently working on. So a whip parade, and then at the end, partway through there, I'm going to show you my one completed object. And the reason I'm going to show it as part of the whips, it's not fully finished. It's just the stitching's done on it, because I'm using part of that fabric for another project, for another piece. So, and they're both on the same fabric, and so you'll be seeing that now. So I guess without further ado, let's get started. Let me put my coffee down. I like coffee way too much, guys. Now I have put my pups outside so they wouldn't jump in the picture so often. My little puppy, he is just a very active little guy. Busy training him to enjoy the camper van and some other things. Now, one of the projects that I had started a few months back was a kit by Riolis. And it's a cross-stitch kit with cotton, kitted cotton. And it's called Eastern Fairy Tale. And it is this peacock. There is another peacock that goes with this. And there's also a long bell pull that's kind of matches this. I had plans originally to get all three of those at some point, just if I could get them before they went out of print or something, because I just think they're absolutely gorgeous. But as I'm doing this one, and the amount of confetti that is in this one, I don't know. I'm going to finish this one because, like I said, I love peacocks, and I think it's going to be beautiful. But this bird, the whole bird is just about all confetti. And I've heard people gripe about confetti, and I thought, what's their problem? They know that's how you're going to get intricacies of design. My problem with it is I don't mind changing up my thread all the time, or even just keeping multiple needles threaded up with different colors that I know I may be using in that section. My problem is that it's the amount of errors that I make. I am still in my cross stitch making enough errors that I have to rip things out fairly frequently. And that's why I'm not making as much progress as other people make on theirs. And on this one, so I did get a new board, a magnetic board to put my project on, and I can put a magnet along the line that I'm working on. But I'd almost rather work on a square, so I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to use that board, but it's already starting to improve things. But the 2 days for this past 6 weeks or so that I have worked on this, and that's all that I've really put into it, I have not accomplished much. Because of that, I keep having to rip everything out. But let me show you where I am. Like I said, I really think it's a beautiful piece, and it's going to finish up. It's on a 14 count, kind of a beige colored Aida. And we do know that they have, I've got it up sideways, that we do know that they have anchor threads in this kit. But I like the quality of the Aida, and it's a 14 count is what it says. It seems smaller than that looking at it. But it says here on the package that it's a 14 count. Yeah, 14 count. I thought it was about a 16 to an 18, but it's not. It's 14. And of course, I haven't done any of the outline stitching over in this corner yet. But what I had mainly that's different from what you saw last time is I have finished up this shading, and I've done just a little tiny bit. I mean, just a few stitches more on the peacock. There was more there, but I had to rip it out because the mistakes that I made that just got it off a little bit, we're going to totally ruin the detail here of all of these, that detail is important in the peacock. And so I just decided I'm just going to rip it out. So hopefully if I run short on any of these threads, I'll be able to get them. Because they're anchor, and there's nowhere around me that sells anchor for me to, but I may just go up and see if I can find something, because I've noticed that a lot of the anchor is almost a duplicate of some of the DMCs as far as that. I was using the kits. These Riolis kits come with the thread very organized. I like that. And even though they're pretty tightly wound on here, I have not found that there's kinks or bends in the thread. I put my thread, I am finding that I much prefer my threads to be on bobbins. Now this is a stamped kit, so I like this pattern. Bought off the secondhand market, and while they hadn't been stitched, there was no pictures with them of what they looked like once they got, okay. Anyway, so this one is kind of, I think it's a really cool pattern, And excuse the lighting in here, by the way, guys. I know it's not good. That is one of the things that I need to do much better on. But you can see it's it's a reproduction of an Asian piece of art. Okay, and it's a tree with different birds and different things on there. And it's 11 count, so you have to do it with 3 threads. And she told me that she was concerned because it was 11 count as well. And she said, but when she got done with it, it's beautiful. Now, this is going to have more done on it than what you see, because I don't like to get out one color of thread and then put it away. And in addition to what mostly I've worked with right now is yellow on this piece. And you can see this is going to be a big piece when it's all done. What I have done with it on the pattern is yellow, even though the yellow marks were not yellow. I think they are I don't know what color was underneath them because I've covered them all up with stitches. But there's a lot of yellow in this is a full coverage piece. But you might be able to see the stitching that I've done if I put it up closer. And I've done all the yellow pretty much on the entire pattern. On the entire piece. You just can't see it all on here. So anyway, and that, I think I'm going to really like that piece. And I think that may be in one of my 2 stitch along pieces. When I get the decision going, we will see. And but this is the color that's the only color I've used. And I am using the called for threads in the kit. And I'm going to tell you, this is something I don't like about any of the kits, even the higher end kits, is these massive, messy, I just don't like it. Now maybe that's why people like to use the rings and all of that. Now, I mean, but I tried cutting them up, so they kept their numbers on them, and putting them in Ziploc. I hated that as well. So for right now, this is the way that it's going. I don't feel like taking all of these off and putting them on those hangers that everybody likes to use. So, and then it came with another one. So, it came with 2 separate pieces. This one of floss, and then this one. And now the next one I've been working on for a while is this one. This is a Design Works thing that I got some years ago in a thrift shop, as you guys know. And it's a red sampler, like I said, from Design Works. And it's called the Cherry ABCs. And I did have to do a lot of also a few videos back pulling out some things to do some, because at first I thought I didn't need to pull them out, even though I knew they were errors, but they were very visible. They maybe weren't affecting how you did the rest of the thing, but to me they affected the whole look of what this sampler was going to look like. So that's the reason that it's been a little slow going for me. But I feel like I want to make this a focus piece coming up. I think this is going to be my focus piece for September. And then we'll go on. And this is Design Works, made in the USA. And I think the designer is Ursula Michael, because that's who it says here owns the copyright. And it's 14 count Ada. And I'm using the called for unbranded red floss that came in the packet. Which is not color fast, because it warned you ahead of time to rinse the floss out in water and let it dry. Which I did, and I have still seen little tiny bits of red up in here. I guess it got on my hands, I don't know what. But I did coffee dye, my fabric before I start. I just did not like the total, it was stark white, bright white. I didn't like that. And I have made some progress. You can see I got all my repairs done up here. I think I had done that the last time I talked to y'all. And I've gotten started on the ABCs. And the D is what I've been working on now. And I love that type of, it's the first time I've really ever stitched an alphabet. and I'm enjoying it. I have had to pull a fair amount out. As I said, I get my counting off. I've got to figure out why I'm doing that so that I don't spend so much time fixing it. But I think this is going to be my focus piece for September. But I haven't worked on this one since you last saw it on a video. Here's what it looks like. It's something that they sold in the bookshops there in Yellowstone. And so here's what it looks like. It's a picture, tiny little pin keep of Old Faithful erupting there in Yellowstone National Park. And this particular pattern is designed by Barbara Bangser for the Posy collection. And it didn't come with the cording and all of that. It's just the Aida fabric, which is a 18 count, Aida. And I stopped working on this, but now that I've gotten my jeweler's glasses, which I've showed many of you with the magnifying lenses, there's a choice of lenses. I actually wish it had a couple of steps higher on the lenses, but it's actually working pretty well for me, and I spent the money on it, so we're going to use it. And this has been a game changer. Anybody, and there are some that are cuter that I've discovered since then, but it's a game changer. But anyway, so this will be the focus after I get done with the cherry ABCs. It's a mini, but for me, I don't know why I've had a difficult time with this. Some of it was the count in my eyes, and you can see I'm not any further than I used to be the last time we were on. Just the grass and starting on a little bit of the dirt is done. I did have some of the tree done. That might have still been in there that I did years ago and was a total mess. I saw what a mess it was. So I did pull all of that out, and I'm just going to do it over again. And if I don't have enough, I'll pull some from my stash. It should work well. Trees can have a variegated color in them, so if the dye lot's not exactly the same, I think it'll be fine. So that's a pin keep from there, and that will be, as soon as I get done with the cherry ABCs, that'll move up to my focus, because I want to do all of these Lori Holt neighborhood patterns eventually. And so I've now got 3 of the patterns, and I barely started on this one. And I'm going to keep ordering the patterns because I've had trouble already, some of the things I wanted to do being out of print. So I will be ordering some more of these gradually, and I'm going to kit them up at the time I order them, because I want the fabrics to all match. But so I'm doing the tea house one. I'm going to be in my queue of quilts for 2026. There's an applique quilt, and I think if I leave here on an adventure in my van, and I have everything, the fabric at least in small pieces, not in big huge bolts of fabric, that I can have this quilt kitted up and ready for me to work on in the van for 2026. We're gonna see. Anyway, so back to this. So I want to do all of these. There's a total of 12 of these houses. She just released another one, and I'm behind on the purchase because I did not know about these, and the Fat Quarter Shop has doing these as a club. You sign up, and every 3 months, I think it is, they release one of the cross stitch patterns, and people are getting them that way, and I think they cost a little bit less to get them that way. And I think they're kitted up already for them. I'm not certain, but I think they are. So I think they save a little bit of money. Plus, they know they're going to get one. Right now, I don't think once they're done with the cross stitch club, there's any trouble getting them. So far, yeah. But I'm trying to get one whenever I do a purchase from Fat Quarter Shop. My issue is I want to kit them up at the same time. Okay, so this is one of the hometown neighborhoods. As I said, it's an applique quilt that she has that I want to do as well. So that's, and I like the concept of doing the houses. So this is the first one. They're actually pretty simple, but they're decent sized. This one is this one here. This one is the fabric that I have. It's the Lori Holt. And by the way, the Lori Holt cross-stitch fabrics, the colors and everything are not exclusive to her unless she's working up something or has developed something since the last time I checked. There's just Zweigart. For instance, this one, if you go into the Zweigart line, it's Zweigart number 253. And if you buy it from the Lori Holt line, it's called Farmhouse. It's Farmhouse. And it is a 25 count even weave. And I'm trying to order this though because I want mine to all be, you know, when I get these done, I want them to all be the same. This was actually the first project that I ordered for Laguna ever. And you can see I didn't get very far on it because I ordered it before I got my glasses. And then it kind of fell to the wayside, and I think I've shown it on some, it's upside down. I've shown it on some of my floss tubes, but all I really got going was the door here. And the inside of the door just looks atrocious to me. I don't know. I think it's not the whole inside of the door. It's that looks so bad. It's this little outline of the panels on the inside of the door. That's the part I want to take out, is that light pink. And I want to redo that over again. But other than that, I'm ready to get this in my queue of my 15. So this will be one of the 15. And I told you that this is on 25 count Laguna with the called for DMCs is what I'm using. And I'm looking forward to getting this one up and running, because really just getting that little bit done on the door is not up and running. But I have the DMCs. I kitted it out. And that's the neat thing about ordering these from the Fat Quarter Shop. If it's an ongoing project that they have, they will have thread kits all set out for them, and they're no more expensive than, you know. And so I like to catch it that way. And the patterns are nice. This pattern is nice anyway. It's the first time I've done a Lori Holt car stitch pattern. In that they're nice colors, bright, easy to see. All right, this is one that I did start Christmas in July. I don't know if you can see that. Let me take that out. I think you can see it better. And this was in a book that went out, a magazine that's now defunct, out of New Zealand, The Gift of Stitching. There was an opportunity, I guess, earlier this year to buy all of their magazines at once for like 28 bucks because they were closing down shop. They weren't even going to sell their digitals anymore. So I did get all of those. And this one is taken from one of those magazines. Gosh, guys, I am really sorry about the lighting today. That is something that I've got to really work on. But it's a Santa sampler. And it's called The Night Before Christmas, and it's going to be very, very pretty when I get done with it. And I am stitching it on a 14 count, just simply because that's what I had. And that's when I say I started it. That's exactly what I've done. All I've done is this upper left-hand corner gets started on a little square there that has the letter T for "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." See it right there? Yeah. Yeah. So it's the T in the word "'twas." It's almost like an illuminated manuscript, how they've done it. Isn't that cool? Anyway, I really liked it. It's got their Santa and the reindeer flying through the sky at the very bottom. That's the border at the bottom. Anyway, I think it's gonna be really cute. I don't know if I'm gonna have this done by Christmas or not, but it's gonna be one of my 15. And like I say, just this little square, that's all I've got done. Just the outline of that top square for the illuminated letter. So, but that is going to be one of the 15. I have it kitted out with threads from my stash. these threads are, I don't, some of them are off brands, whatever, that are DMC equivalents. And actually, I bought these off of, and so, a couple of them are actually DMCs, I think. But off of Marketplace, thinking I was ordering somebody's stash of DMCs. And when they came, they have DMC numbers, but they're not DMCs. Or some other brand called AIRO out of China, I believe. But I did side-by-side comparison of the colors, and I can't tell the difference. Now, they do stitch a little differently as far as smoothness, things like that. So, no, I wouldn't say that they replace DMC, but I do think I'm not going to waste them. I'm going to use them. And I think they'll look fine on this pattern. They look nice in the stitch, just like those, but that will be one of my 15. Another one that's going to be one of my 15, and then you're going to see my one finished stitch. It's not fully finished. It's not in the, but I want to do a monthly mini. And for right now, and these, I may stop on this and do other monthly minis as I come across them. But for right now, and I'm stitching off of this one called 12 Monthly Minis. Primrose Cottage with the designer Lindsay Waite. And I'm using the called for DMCs. And I am using a 28 count scrap that I have of Fiber on a Whim. I think it's called Moonstone. And let me fold this over. And the reason I'm showing it at this time is because I'm using this fabric for several of these minis. And it's just a little pillow. It could be a pin keep if you wanted. Now, so it's just a little patriotic piece. This was my Memorial Day patriotic piece, as well as my monthly mini. And it was very easy to do, you know, very easy to complete. And I liked it the way it turned out. My stitches don't look messy, nothing. So, and so I was very happy with that. Now, I have really messed up. First place, when I went to August and I started stitching, I realized I was stitching the September one instead of the August one. I said, that's all right. I can always go back next month and do the August one. But I totally messed it up. Look at the size difference. One, I got a little too close to the other one, closer than it was necessary. I mean, I'm going to make a pillow out of these. You only need about 1/4 of an inch to sew a pillow. But I could have moved it over just a little bit more, given it a little bit more space, and it's smaller than it's supposed to be. And I figured out I was like 2 stitches off. So it's not going to look right. It's going to look off balance. Because I thought about leaving it this way because I've had so much of it done. But it's going to look off balance. So I'm taking it out, and this is going to be my mini for September. So we're going to not have an August one done. But that's okay. There's August of next year when we'll do that. The August one. And we'll just keep going forward. But it's a mess. So I'm going to be tearing that out. And for right now, that is going to be one of my 15. And occasionally, like I said, I may... and these are with the some from that. I'm using threads on this that I got from that big bunch of threads I got from Marketplace. Now here's another one that I meant and I want to get back to starting in September, where I get a section done every month for, you know, period of time. This is from that same magazine, the Gift of Stitching magazine. This is from the September 2006 issue, if you're looking for it. They always tried to have a mystery project going. There's some of them I didn't like. I won't be doing those, but I liked an awful lot of them. And this one is a sampler that started in September of 2006, which I believe was their very first issue. And I did not work on this at all this month. I just got, yeah, so here it is. It's a mystery, and you can see it's divided up into 1, 2, 3, 5 months. and I was working on the first month in July, and I got that all done except for one flower here, this little flower right here, and I hated it. I hated the flower. So for this month, for September, I'm going to get started back on this. This will be one of my 15. At some point after I get the Old Faithful going, if I am still working on this, I am going to try and this will move up, and I'll just get more months done at once. My puppy chewed on my paper copy of my pattern. Puppyhood, right? But anyway, so that's the section that I've got all done other than the flower, and you may have seen it in one of my other videos. And then I've got the pattern out for September already. Let me see here. Yeah, this is the one for September. So I need to come over here. That's going to be the part I'm going to try to get done in September. And it's actually a lot, because if you can see, it's, so I don't know, but I'm going to try my best to get it done. And let me show you what I've got done so far. This is on 28 count Ada, the moonstone. I think if I had it to do over again, I wouldn't have picked this kind of grayish tint. But this is part of what happens when you don't know what you're looking at online and you're new to this. It looked like a totally different color to me online, and I decided to use it. I did a thread toss on it. The threads all look nice, and so you can see I'm liking it so far. There are mistakes on it. I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm a beginner. I'm going to be happy with them and not dwell on it. And the bottom of these two, this flower, the pot that it's sitting in, is on a future month, and the very bottom of this snail is on a future month, and then right in here is where the missing flower is going to go. So I'm going to just add that on in September, and I'm going to see how far I get in September. But like I said, I'm hoping to keep up with it so I can get it done in the 5-month period that it's originally intended for. And this one is using those threads that I told you about from the that unknown brand, or whatever you want to call it. Did I give you the right? Fiber on a Whim. I think, I don't remember if I told you that. Moonstone. Fiber on a Whim, 28 count Laguna even weave. Now I was doing a stitch along. Colorado Stitcher does a cross stitch camp June, July, and August, and I just kind of got overwhelmed with not only this but some other things going on, and I found myself tearing this thing apart, putting it back together. I knew I was not going to finish it. Have ended up deciding that I didn't want to do the stitch along anymore because I just wasn't going to be able to finish them. So even though I'm enjoying the piece, there are some criticisms I have of it, most of it towards me, but I wish I had paid more attention to the colors and how they interacted together. I would have personalized it and picked different colors. So basically, it's a wonderful pattern. It's Teresa Colute, Psalms 91:11, and I am doing this on a Laguna. She recommended a linen, and I'm doing this on Laguna with DMC threads that I ordered. I think I ended up ordering them from Fat Quarter Shop. They're the only ones that had all of them in stock, so I ended up doing this order of this thread from Fat Quarter Shop. It's 2/2 on 32 count linen. I'm doing it 2/2 charcoal linen, and I couldn't find the called for charcoal that she was talking about, and was also at the time feeling very insecure about even trying linen. I'm going to give, now she is in a hoop. I have discovered hoop stitching, and I think for these softer fabrics, that is going to be the way I go in the future. And the reason being is that someone said, Jackie, it opens up the fabric so that you can it's easier to stitch, and it's not just about getting the fabric tight for the tension of your piece. It's also about ease of getting your needle through, and on fabrics that you're having a hard time seeing the holes. Even with the magnifying glasses, it helps. So this is where I'm at so far on the piece. There's one other star done over here, by the way, and you can see this is the piece. This is going to be part of my 15. The thing that I'm not liking about it is if you look at the pattern, see how well differentiated the colors are in the pattern on her dress. And while you can see them somewhat on mine, there's not much of a, even in real life, it's not much of a, and I use the called for DMCs. Now I'm not certain if the sample was done with DMC or not, because those colors definitely don't look like, but in the pattern that's all that it looks like it's called for is DMC. It doesn't call for any silks or anything. So does it say? And it doesn't say on where it talks about the display one, if that's on DMC or if whoever did it did something different. But I would have picked out something to contrast that a little bit more, because it's a lot of work to do that skirt and do the dip pattern in it and try to get it right and not mess it up, the count up on it, and then have it barely show up. So I'm going to keep doing it because I don't want it to be all just one color. It's not, you need the dimensionality and etc. But I need to be more careful of that as I'm setting up patterns, that I can make sure that it's all for my taste. And you can see there are some errors in there. And mainly what they're affecting is somehow, I think it's where I took, my stitches just aren't very pretty in those areas. The thread must have been twisted, various things like that. So I'm just hoping my stitching gets prettier each and every time, and so far it is. So and I really like the pattern. That trumpet is actually finished out here a little bit, and I'm using this Nerge hoop, and I'm really liking it. And I've ordered, they actually came, I just haven't worked on this pattern since that date. They actually came, the little things to put on here to hold them, so that the material's out of the way. I'm thinking I'm going to have a fair amount of this left for some other project too, so I just haven't done the measuring of it to see. It's all back. And by the way, these are giant Ziploc hefty bags, and I don't remember if they're 2.5 or 3 gallons, but those have been very, very helpful. The problem is they're just getting all raggedy looking, and I don't like that. That's why I ordered the other project bag. That'll be one of the 15. This next one is one I really like, and I'm torn between this one and another one to be the second of my stamp patterns that I use for my sew along. Once again, this one's even worse on the picture. But this one was I got this kit, I believe, for free. The lady that I bought them from was local here in Amarillo. She was a stitcher of many, many years. Her eyesight is just getting worse and worse. And she said to the point it was giving her a headache. And she not only stitched these, she had linen that patterns that she had totally kitted up. She just wanted more than was in my budget that month to buy the linen patterns. And she had Laguna. She had all kinds of different fabrics, Ada. And then she had a bunch of these stamped kits. And she had ordered these because when her eyes started going bad. And she said really they all gave her the same bad headache. And her eye doctor told her that she needed to find another hobby. So that's what she's doing. But anyway, so I was the blessing of that. I got a bunch of them for $2. And then a couple weeks later, because she had mailed them to me, one day she brought a bag and put outside my door, and then called me and said and she knew my address because she had shipped me that first group that I was buying, because I didn't have transportation to go pick up at the time. And so she had shipped them all to me. And for almost nothing, by the way, because she was shipping from one side of town to the other. So my shipping was very cheap on those as well. And about a week later or so, she calls me on my phone and said, Jackie, I put some pattern, a bag outside of your door, and lo and behold, it was a bunch of those patterns. So I called her, how much do I owe you for those, and she wouldn't take any money for them. She said, I just need to destash them. Nobody wants to buy these printed patterns, these stamped patterns, because they don't think the kit will be there, because some of them didn't. She said some of them were ordered off of AliExpress, I think is the one. And she said a lot of theirs don't come with pictures. The manufacturers have don't do everything in them to keep the prices down to AliExpress's prices or whatever. So she said that's why they only have those pictures. She said she didn't take them out. But anyway, this is just a floral. And I did work on that this time, just a little bit. Where did I put it? Okay, right here. And so I'm thinking this will be my second stamped piece, since I've got a little distance on this one. But there's several of them in here that I have worked on. And I am using the kitted threads. I went to see an exhibit at our local museum, and I got this little bag. And I've been using it to keep the threads in from here. I like little bags like that. It's the closest thing I have right now to a real project bag, is that. Anyway, and this is a small piece, and there's a lot more done on this than it looks like, once again, because of the busyness of the print on the pattern. And it's hard, but now none of the print on the pattern is the same color as your product, your end picture is going to turn out. But I've gotten a lot of background done up in here, and I'm now starting on the floral part of it. And I like to work from my left hand side of when it's facing me, the left hand side, and then work my way across. But you can see I've made some progress on it, and I just I think this is going to be my second one, because I think that it'll be one that I'll be able to show as a finish at some point soon. So there's that. That's a floral. So that will be my second. Decision is made. That will be my second stitch along project. And I don't, because these take longer than I thought, because of the amount of the stitch count that's in them. Yeah, so there's that. That's one of my two. So how many do I have? I have my 2 stitch alongs. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I think before I get in, let me finish my other whips, and then I'll tell you what the rest of my 15 will be. Okay, this is one that is started that I'm not going to do. I'm not going to finish it. I hate it. The fabrics, I just don't like it. I still want to do Starry Night, but I don't like this one. And the threads are just, if you look at it, the threads, some of the threads are really nice. I think it depends upon what company made them, or maybe it's technique. I don't know, but the threads just look there's no luster to the threads. They're dull. By the time you get them through the fabric here, and which is a 14 count Aida, and it's dull. I don't know how to describe it, and I just don't like it. If someone else would like it, please don't put giveaway or anything. Somebody wants to adopt it, I'll be glad to send it to you along with all the threads, and maybe when you can do it, or you can use some better threads from your stash or something and do it, because it seems to be the threads, and I want to get a different one that I saw that I liked a lot better, and I like the way it's not like this is not all one color. There's some in the one I want. They've got some other things in here to give it some tonal dimension to it, and it still looks black, but they've done different things in it to make it have some dimension. This one doesn't have any dimensionality for most of it, and I don't like it. But if you think you would like to adopt it, just put in the bottom in the comments, adopt, and I will send it to you. because the threads and everything are in here. I should have shown you what it looks like. It's a Joy Sunday kit. But most of you have seen Starry Nights. It's hard to get out of this, but here is the picture, which to me looks like it has a lot more dimensionality in it. And I know a lot of people really love Joy Sunday kits. But it might be something in the way I was stitching that was causing that, because this is the very first one I tried to do. But I don't really like it. I'm gonna go ahead and fold this picture. I can get it in there easier. And it also comes with the pattern. It has it divided up into 6-month increments. As you can see, there's 6 pages or whatever for you to do as your project. So I don't know, if you want to adopt it, please put the word adopt, and I will we'll try to figure out a way from there to connect and trade addresses, and I will get it off to you, because I'm not going to do it. Now, this is another one of the stamped ones that I've been working on. This will go in the queue, but not in the 15 queue. This will go in the ones that to replace. It's got, and this one has actually got a fair amount done it as well. You just cannot tell it. But as my usual, I like to start in the left-hand side that's facing me. And so that's what we're going to focus on, because you can't tell those reds on the rest of it, if they're done or not, because there's, like I say, those colors. But you can see where I've been working on it. And see, the threads did not do that. And these are some of the ones that had no brand on them. I'll show you what the original the piece is supposed to look like. It's actually a sticker, kind of amazing, but anyway. And so it's a floral, and it's just bigger than the other one, but it will replace that other floral once that one's done. Okay, this is one that's actually a whip. It's a Thea Governor kit, and I'm gonna work on this. I don't know, it's a Christmas kit. When I first got it out, I could not see that black, and that's why I haven't done anything else on it. But now that I have gotten the jeweler's glasses, I think I can do it. Their kits are quite nice. The only thing I am going to say, and it's the same thing with the Riolis kits, is they do not tell you the numbers on the threads, so that if you run out of thread, and I know of some people that have run out of thread, others say, oh, they got their threads right away. Other people have said that with Riolis, and I've seen it with this one too, that they've had trouble getting them to respond to them. That they ran out of thread. And I think they're people that are kind of like me. They had to pull things out. But anyway, this one, by the way, does come with a light background as well as this dark background. And I chose the dark background out of ignorance. I think if I had it to do over again, I would have picked the light background, which looks like it's a stark white from here. And then I would have done a little tea dyeing. Light, not much, not heavy dyeing, but I would have done something. You can see it's a beautiful picture. It's going to take a long time to do. The finished picture is going to be 20 by almost 24 inches. So it's a big picture when it gets done. So this one definitely would not be getting done by Christmas. And it says nowhere on here what size of Ada that is. It's an Ada picture. It says nowhere. I would guess that the Ada is like a 20 count, something like that. But it does not say anywhere. Now, I will also say that these kits, despite the fact of the thread, these are beautiful. The Thea Governor kits seem to be absolutely gorgeous. And there are several that I want to do. And when I first ordered this one, I kind of thought, man, that was expensive. But you know, the more I've been getting these other things kitted up, I realize I'm spending a lot to get it up. So I'm not thinking. I wish they were on Laguna instead of Ada for this price. But they're beautiful kits, and the Ada is a higher end quality Ada. Some of the ones that I've got are not. So they're nice quality kits. She has some cityscapes I desperately want to do, and some samplers that I want to do. in particular, this sampler right here, I want to do that. And she's got some others as well. So, but they are more, even in the kit world, they're more expensive. They use Anchor floss, I believe. No, this one's DMC floss. Yeah, and it even says DMC on it. They've marked them all as being DMC floss. So the good thing about it is I think that I can match it. It would just be a lot easier if they would just say what it was. And I guess they don't want people doing the pattern again, which I don't get that, because you bought the pattern from them. Why shouldn't you get to do it again? So this is going to be in the queue, but it's not going to be in the first 15. It'll get added in later. And I will put this over here. And this is going to be towards the stamped queue. I have started on this, but I'm not going to pull it out because of the color of this canvas. You absolutely cannot see it. And it's very little. It's very little on one of the corners. I am going to try to get you to see. It's another one of those. What it is, it's like a tree of life. It's an art reproduction. So there it is. And it looks just like a tapestry. And it'll be in the queue. I think it's another one that my friend stitched up, and it's very pretty. So, but there's so little done on that, you're not going to be able to see it because of all the colors on that tapestry. That is not going to get done right away, but I'm having a hard time getting my interest in this one. This is why I keep putting it away. It was one I bought from a thrift store. It had already been partially started. And it is the Dimensions Gold Collection, and I like it. It's cute. I'm just keep looking at all of this confetti that's on there to do. That background on there, those little blue, that's all hand stitched. That's not in the fabric. I keep looking at that, and then I just stop and I put it away. But I will do it because I do like it, and I will do it. But it had already been started, and I did do a little bit on it before I started noticing, oh, look at all that confetti. I don't remember what I paid for this kit, and I don't remember where I got it. I didn't even know if I had bought it new or not until I got it out and saw it had already been started. And so I've done a little work on it. And what was started on it before was this line right here. And all I've really done on it is the bottom part of the bottom teacup. This is the lip of the cup, and then this is going around. So it's the outlining of the teacup. That's all I've done on it. And it will be in the queue, but it's not in the 15. So those are my ongoing whips. Now I want to show you a pattern parade. I've got this one all kitted out from the Fat Quarter Shop. I think you can see it. And this is another one of the hometown neighborhoods. By the way, I did buy 2 of this particular pattern, but at some point in the future, it's going to be a giveaway once we hit a certain amount of subscribers on this channel. And we'll be doing that as a giveaway. And so this is part of, as I said, part of that hometown neighborhood, which is, she also has the matching quilt pattern that I want to do the quilt for this in 2026. It's an applique quilt. So this one, once the house I'm already working on, the teacup house, gets done, this one will take its place. And it's kitted up with the same thing. If you bought it from the Zweigart company, it's number 253, but it is a 25 count Laguna. She has it in her book, other fabric choices on it, but and I've got it kitted out with the called for DC, and it's the Farmhouse Laguna from Lori Holt. It's from where she's gotten it over to her line. This one is from Orenco Originals, which I have bought several patterns from them. I haven't got any of them stitched up yet. This is a piece of from William Morris. He's the founder of the arts and crafts movement, and it's called The Birds and Acanthus Vine. and I haven't got it stitched up. They're all set up for Ada cloth, and I do have some. I think I have everything to do this with, but I don't know when this one's going to fall in, you know, between my stash. I think I have everything for it. I just don't have that one stashed up yet. Okay. These are some patterns that I had purchased. This is from a pattern I purchased since my last haul. It is from the Blue Fat Flower. It's called the Autumn Bee. And I am going to kit that up eventually. I haven't done that yet. It's called for the sample here. Gosh, guys, is that better? The sample here is done with dinky dyes. So I don't know if I'm going to do this. It's going to be a pillow, just like what they did here. And I don't know if I'm going to use the dinky dyes, silk, or if I am going to just use the DMC. And they have done this on French Country Linen by Witchelt. So we'll see what I end up doing it, how I end up doing it myself. But I love bees, and I love roses in this style here as well. So I really like that pattern. So I ordered that. And then this was another one in the haul that I think this was from Amazon. I don't remember where I actually ordered. Oh, I ordered that bee pillow that the Autumn Bee. I ordered that from a 1-2-3 stitch. This was from Amazon, I do believe. I love bookmarks, and every time I see a bookmark pattern, I grab it. And so I have some bookmarks coming up that I have kitted out here, but they weren't part of the recent purchase. So I'll do those first, and then this will probably get in the queue somehow. Those bookmarks will be one of my 15, by the way. But so when those bookmarks are replaced, and some more bookmarks need to take their place. And I have a lot of bookmark patterns between different magazines and things. I did show you this magazine, this book from Teresa Kogut in my haul video, and I'm going to try to complete all of the pieces in here, but I have gone ahead and kitted up for the very first piece in here, which is called In God We Trust, and I'm going to use DMCs. See, I've already looked at this book so much it's coming apart, and I'm going to use that. And my goal for the rest of 2025 and through 2026 is to always have a patriotic piece going. So I'm going to complete every one of them in this book. I did go through the entire book in my haul video. It's a really cool book, and none of the patterns in here are really huge. There is a sampler in here that's a little bit bigger than the others, but I don't think any of them will take a huge amount of time to do. But I've got my fabric. I'm going to use some stash threads for this, but it's Vintage Country Mocha, and this will be a linen project, but it looks pretty evenly woven. I really like that for a beginner like me. And it's at Vintage Country Mocha Edinburgh Linen. I got this at the Fat Quarter Shop on 36 count Edinburgh Linen. She's got in here for 40 count, so mine is going to be a little bit bigger than what hers is. So that will be one of the 15, I believe. When they end up with more than 15 if I'm not careful. This needs to be one of the 15. This was going to be the last of my projects for the golly, guys, I don't know if you can see it. They're little mini sampler bookmarks, and they have a sewing theme. I'm actually going to do 4 of these when I stitch it out. I'm going to take one of them and I'm going to remove the sewing theme, like the scissors, and I'm going to take one of the motifs that doesn't have anything to do with sewing and put it on the top of that one, because it's going to be a gift for a male friend that relative that is an avid reader. So this was by I've had this in my stash for like 5 years, Nikki's Creations, and it's just called Bookmark Sampler. I'm sorry for the light, and I have it kitted out with some I believe, if I remember right, it's a 28 count. I'm going to use my stash threads for it. And it's a DMC linen. I believe it's a 28 count. So, I mean, it was called, the samples on here are a 32 count, but it doesn't say what the fabric is. I don't want to show you the pattern. Let me see. Yeah, it says it's done on a 14 count, or you can use a 32 count. So I figure since, okay, they did it on the 32 count, so mine are going to be a little bit bigger bookmarks because I'm going to do them on a 28 count. But that's okay. They'll still be about the size of a bookmark. So I'm good with that. And this is going to be my big celebrating the 250th anniversary. So I have to start on this month. So this is definitely has to be one of the 15, even if the other one falls back a little bit. So we'll see what I actually end up with. I'll show you on my next floss tube what I actually ended up with. But this one will definitely be in there. And my goal is to have this done by July the 4th of 2026. So I'm already behind because I figure this is like a 12-month project, kind of looking at the stitches on it. So I've got to make it up in there. So, but it's beautiful, and I've got the fabric ordered. I just have to wait till payday to pay for it. So once I pay for it, and the only place I've been able to find the fabric that I liked was at 123 Stitch, and I have found that they can be a little bit slow to ship. That's really, but other than that, they have a nice selection. I was real happy with them, but I think they're a little bit slow. But I don't know if because so many 4th of July things, or maybe there's a lot of people doing this pattern, I couldn't find the threads, the right fabric for it. It was harder than the dickens. 325 by 185 stitches, and they did it on 32 count linen, and that's what I'm going to be ordering from Grace Notes Fabric. It says it's a fat quarter of fabric, so anyway, and it's 2/2. Couple of specialty stitches. It's this one in it, and then there is some back stitching to outline the house and some of the other things there, mainly the house. But I just think it's gorgeous. So that one, as soon as I get all the stuff. Another one that I just purchased, I haven't decided where and how and when I'm going to get, because I want to start doing Santas. I have all these wants that I want to do, and I love the Prairie Schooler ones. And I thought Prairie Schooler, because the company closed the website down, and they said they won't be selling any patterns, etc., etc. And so I thought, well, the only Prairie Schoolers left are the ones that our stores have in their inventory. But I have found out since then someone has bought out all their patterns, and they're going to be reproducing them. So I don't know who it is, but I guess Prairie Schooler, I don't know if all of their patterns are going to be available or just, but someone has bought their rights to their patterns and is currently producing them. So, as my understanding, and I don't know if they'll still be under the name Prairie Schooler. I'm assuming they will. But anyway, so these are Teresa Kogut's Hello Santa, and all of her Santas. She's got some cool Santas. They're not in this book, and I like them almost better than I like the Prairie Schoolers. But I want to do the Prairie Schoolers because I love them. But I just love this book. And I don't think I had it on my last haul video, so I'm going to show you some of the pictures that are in it. Here's the first one in the book. Love it. It's called A Top Hat for Jack. And here's the one featured on the cover. It's the Green Coat Santa. And these books are really good value. She's got nice patterns in there, and they are around $30. And when you look at the price of the patterns, and when you get an individual pattern, this is just a deal. I think I'm going to go join her Patreon page. It's with my next Social Security check, because I think that is going to be a good buy to do that, because I'm becoming such a huge fan, not only of her patterns, but her as a person, how she presents herself. Yeah, she's just really a neat lady. But anyway, so here's the second one. This one's called Santa's Big Bouquet. Isn't that cool? And I don't think any of these are really big. I don't want to show you the patterns, but the patterns are nice, printed largely on and in color, so you can easily see them. It says this one is 1/2, and I think most of these are stitched 1/2, and different sizes according to what size you get. But the recommended fabrics are 28 count all the way up to 46 count. She stitched all of hers, it says, on 40 count in the pictures. So there's that. Look at him, isn't he cute? He's called Right Jolly Old Elf. Because I don't think I had this one when I did my haul video, so. Okay, now this one's called S Claws. I love every one of these so far. I mean, like, every one of them. So, I mean, somehow I've got to fit them in. I don't know exactly how, but I'm gonna, yeah. Okay, so now here's the next one, and this one's called S Claws. S period Claws, C-L-A-U-S. Really, really cute. And I'm not into cutesy patterns, but I love the primitive patterns. Now this one is called Dear Santa. Is that the last one? I don't think so. There are so many in here. Yeah, this one is called A Lot Like Christmas. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Anyway, there it is. And you know, they're all from her own art. I just love that. Okay, so that's the entire book. That's all the patterns in this book. It's 7 cross-stitch charts, and it was $30. I mean, come on, guys. Who can complain about that? Look at the prices of the cross-stitch charts. These are full color charts. Very, very nice. Okay, and then those of you who don't know, well, I'll talk about that in a minute, because here's another patriotic one I want to do, and it's a big sampler, and I want to do it sometime during 2026, add it into my queue. I have not kitted it out yet. This is called Let Freedom Ring, designed by Lila C. Umstead. They recommend, and it's really cool looking. See, I like it. And I was having a hard time choosing between this one, the one I wanted to complete by July the 24th, this one or the other one, and I decided on the other one because it is like a celebration. Fireworks, all ahead. But I'm definitely going to get this one into my queue at some point. It's not new. It's been in my stash for several years. I bought it from the bookstores. I think they have some others, and I meant to buy those, but you know, there's a budget when you work at those bookstores. You have to be really careful. And I was buying books. I love books, and anyway, you got to be careful. You're going to not end up with any salary, because it costs so much to be in the parks anyway. But I did get this one because the animals are such a huge deal in the park. And this is a bigger one than the Pin Keep. This one finishes at 12.5 by 5.5. And while I think there are prettier bison, gray wolf, and grizzly bear pictures out there, I wanted to support the park at the same time. So I bought this at the park. Plus it's on 18 count. I think it'll still turn out cute. And I'm probably going to use them in the journal that I am going to make for Yellowstone Park, you know. But anyway, I want to use these as pages, so they may not all end up on one piece. I may cut them up, and anyway, if you've ever seen, and do them in my junk journal, but we'll see. But anyway, so if you do it though as called for, it'll be finished 12.5 by 5.5 on 18 count Charles Craft fabric. This one is not stark white like the other one. It's more of like a cream color. So I don't know, I probably will not change the color of it unless I do a little inking on it as I'm putting my junk journal together. And this is designed by Barbara Bangser for the Posy collection. Now these other ones I cannot show you because I don't have a picture of the pattern. These were patterns that were tossed in when I made an order like 5 years ago during Nashville. I believe it was during Nashville. And there were a lot of gifts given out by purchase by some of the sellers. And so I'll tell you who made them. This is an alphabet sampler, and it's just a pretty alphabet with hearts in between the letters. And then there's numbers at the bottom. And it's called Love Ya by La Di Da Freebie. La Di Da Freebie. And I think it's La Di Da, and this is a freebie pattern, but I'm not sure. And they recommend 36 count vintage lentil fabric using 1 strand. Floss over 2. And you can either do it, it's done in red and black, so 2 simple colors. So I think that I will have the colors in my stash. I just need to come up with the linen for that. So that's planning on getting in there. And here is another one from Annie B's Folk Art. And this was another pattern that was given to me in that same order. I had done a large order. And it's designed by Annie Belcher. It says, "'Tis Spring," a complimentary chart by Annie B's Folk Art. And it features a sheep standing on a grass mound with the flower, and then there's some sheep on the very top as well, like you're counting sheep. And it just says the word it's spring on there, so it looks like would turn out quite cute. And then I have another one here that was a freebie. This one they called for using silky cotton petites. So I don't know if I would do that, or if I would try to figure out the equivalents and do that from my stash. Probably the second. The Moo the Merrier. It's by the Blue Flower. It's a free pattern, I believe, for 2021. So that's when I probably got all of these were in 2021. Okay. Now, another one that I have in my queue to do is from another from the February 2006 issue of the Gift of Stitching. And there are so many in here that I want to tell you that when I start doing my pattern parade, I'm just going to say everything from the Gift of Stitching. And true, I wouldn't do everything. Yeah, but anyway, so I want to show you. This one is called Woman. I believe it's called Woman Sewing by Lamplight. Yes, it is. And it's done by Stoyanka Ivanova of Solaria Gallery. The original work was done by someone called Jean Francois Millet. I thought she had done this painting, but it wasn't. It was Jean-Francois Millet. And here it is, and it's a complete coverage. There's a child down here in the bed. And then this woman is sewing by lamplight. And there's a total of 44 colors in it, 130 by 160 stitches, and it calls for DMC. And I think I want to use the 25 count for it, but you end up with a tiny little picture, so I don't know. I mean, it's really tiny, so it's almost tempting to do this one on 14 count. So I don't know if because that picture ends up being 9 by 11. I don't know, I might do it on an 18 or a 36 count. We'll see, but I haven't kitted it up yet. I'm planning on using stuff from my stash once again, if I have it. If I don't, I'll order it. And that is in my queue to do. Another one that's in my queue to do right now, and I have a fair amount of these Arinco patterns, as I said. Kind of fell in love with what they had. They're all reproductions of famous artwork on their site, at least that I've been looking at. I don't know if they have stuff there from other stitchers or not. And I did download, I don't know if I got them all or not, but I did download the PDF files for a fair amount of these angels that are reproductions from stained glass. This particular stained glass was done by James Powell and Sons. The thing that I don't know is I wish I knew where the stained glass was at. Is it in a church? Where is it? Maybe someday I'd want to go see them all. They're just beautiful. And this one is the Archangel Gabriel. And when you get done, it's once again, it's charted for Ada fabric. I think I am going to use some of the ones that come pre-printed with the grass for these full coverage if I can. And I think I'm going to do 32 count in that, or either 28 count. 28 count would take it to what it is with the suggested on the pattern. So maybe I'll do them both in 28 count. I'm not sure. Now I want to get into my patterns that aren't necessarily in the queue right now, but they will be. Things that I have patterned out but aren't in the box of things that, you know, they're not set up to be anything that I move forward right away. I'm going to have the 15 as I mentioned, and then the 2. So that's actually a total of 17 patterns that'll be ongoing. And then as those get done, the ones you've seen so far, I'll take one of those or whatever and move it into the queue. But I've got to fit that July 4th celebration, it's called, in part of the 15. That one has to be started as soon as I can get the fabric and stuff here. So that's kind of what you've seen so far. This Leisure Arts Nativity set. And it's in 3 books. And I don't know if this is a book that's currently in production or if I found older books. These books are brand new. Nobody's used them. They're in excellent condition. And I just love it. Here's what the whole set looks like when you're done. And I want to do this. And I ordered all 3 books. Books 1 and 2 from Amazon. Well, when it came, it said on my receipt it was book 1. But look what was there in its place. This is so un-me. I would not do it. Gave me credit. Said they didn't want me to send it back and they're going to send me the correct book. So this is one of the patterns that I have. At some point, these will start going in my queue. And I did this one was shown in a haul quite a ways back. I got this book off of Amazon. I saw some people talking about Jane Greenoff, and the book that they were talking about, I finally found it, $300. That's not going to happen, but I did find another of her books, and there's also several others that are still in print. The one that was $300 is not in print. And there are a number of projects in here that I want to do. But the one that I have it in my roll here is this sampler right here. These birds. I just love it, and I want to do that. Another one that's going to be showing up soon is this Hands Across the Sea, Queen of the May for 2025. I actually have it all kitted out. I may change the fabric on it. The fabric might not be quite big enough that I have. I might not be leaving myself enough room for framing. I need to kind of do some measuring and things like that and think about it a little bit more. I think the threads will look pretty on the fabric that I got. What I have here is a 40 count Newcastle linen from Zweigart Vintage Country Mocha. The one that they originally did it on, I can't remember the name of it. It's Tabby Cat, I think, and it's kind of a yellowish hue to it that they originally did it on, and it was just above my budget when I started kitting this out. And I bought this. I'm a member of by the way, the Friends of Hands Across the Sea Facebook group. She will every once in a while put free patterns up. They're usually a small piece, maybe an alphabet or a motif or something like that, that she'll put up. And then the other thing that she does is when you order, a lot of times, not with every pattern of course, but she'll announce a pattern every once in a while there's freebies with. And with this particular, there's one out now that you get two patterns. You get an extra pattern with it that was done by that person's sibling. So, which is a good deal. This one, what she had in here was these little panels for you to do a project bag with. So you can do a little one for your threads and your whatnots, or even a thread book. I kind of like the idea of a thread book. I don't know what I'll end up with, but anyway. And then this one could be your front panel on your bag. So I've bought some fabric that I think will look good with it, I'm gonna get, that'll be my first project bag that I'm gonna make. So anyway, it's Hands Across the Sea, Elizabeth Stevenson. I'm gonna pull it out because I think a lot of people have already seen this pattern. And by the way, I don't know if she does this in every order, but because this was my first order, she has a line of greeting cards that she sells. They're empty cards, so in other words, you can use them for whatever occasion you want, and they're samplers from her vintage sampler collection. And she included one of those in an envelope in my order as well. And they're not any longer giving away the free panels. I don't even think they have these panels for sale anymore. They might. I do know, I think I saw on their website they still had a few where you can buy a panel, an entire panel of fabric that includes everything you need, I think, other than your zipper to make, and your lining. It might even have your lining, I don't know, but it's a big panel, and you cut it up, and it's to make project bags with. And she has a video on her website how to make a project bag. So but anyway, so this is the Elizabeth Stevenson from 1854. This was the 2025 Queen of the May, and it's a beautiful piece. I've already seen. This is Jane Atkinson. I'm trying to remember where I ordered this from. I'm sorry, whoever I ordered this from, I don't remember where I ordered it. But it's Jane Atkinson, circa 1780, and it's an Adam and Eve quilt, and I love Adam and Eve Adam and Eve samplers. You can see a childlike interpretation of a human body. Can you imagine how hard it is, though, to draw a human body? It's much less for a child to draw them. They have found a very similar, if not the same border on another piece that's in the Victoria and Albert Museum, done by someone called Sarah Brignell. So, but it's a different piece. Okay, and since the borders for these young girls were not usually quite this opulent, they think the teacher, because these were used to teach girls in school certain things, counting, different things like that, alphabets, just various sundry things. And it could have been the story of Adam and Eve, so, because they did teach that in public schools back then. So, and they think that the teacher, they possibly had the same teacher, and that who liked to do very opulent borders, floral borders. Anyway, I liked it, and I decided to do it. It's not kitted out. Now, this is a September stitch along that they are doing at Evertote. I'm not going to be doing it as part of the stitch along because I've got so many projects already going. But I really liked the pattern, so I did order it. And it comes also with this pattern it's a really large pin keep. It's big. And it comes also with the pattern for that. And it's kind of cool because she shows the original back here that they took the pattern from. And it is colored slightly different, but pretty close to the same. Yeah, there are some very, very vague differences. But anyway, when it's done, it will be, it doesn't say here, it does somewhere inside of the pattern. But this Jane Wood 1853, it's a reproduction sampler and a pin cushion. And since I do know that this is a very large pin cushion, I mean it's large, that this piece is fairly large as well. And it's got it either using Roxy Floss Co. or DMC, because Evertote's thing is Roxy Floss Co. So, and I think that's what this one was stitched with, was Roxy Floss Co. So it is more money than the DMC for sure, so I'm thinking I'm going to hold on to this until I can afford to actually kit it out and try some Roxy Floss Co. Lori Holt Neighborhood Bee Houses. Like I say, this one I'm just going to do one of these after the other. There's going to be one in my queue until I have all 12 of them done. And this is the bee house. And just like the others, I have it all kitted out with the farmhouse 25 count Zweigart Laguna and the called for DMC threads. This is the magazine. I might as well show you this because that Christmas sampler that I showed you that's in my current 15, this is what the center of it with Santa looks like. I need to put that away because I took the pattern for that out already. I need to put it back in my other, oh actually, yeah, with the other magazines. But I have this one out because I want to do this sampler. It's a strip sampler that's on the front. It's called Woodland Sampler. It's by a company called Something in Common. I'm gonna be doing that at some point. I haven't kitted it out or done anything with it yet. It looks like it's on Laguna, so I don't know if I'm going to do it on all white. Once again, it's a stark white. I might do it on more of a cream. We'll see. Now this is one I've had in my stash for about 4 or 5 years from Twin Peak Primitives, and it's called the Peacock Sampler, and I love peacocks. And I really want to get this one in soon, but the whole 4th of July thing, and also another big event happening, in a 250-year event happening, is gonna, and this is going to be a multiple month one. The designer is Nerdan Canber out of Holland, and they're suggesting 8 of 14 count. I don't think I will do this on 8 of 14 count. I think if I'm doing okay with linen, I'll probably do it on linen. We'll see where I'm at, but it's the pattern has DMC. That's what the called for is. Now it says the model was done on 25 count Zweigart Lugana, 2 threads over 2. So maybe I'll do that. I don't know. But that would be even bigger than the 8 of 14 count. And this is a big piece. It ends up being 61.5 by 51.89. So I think I'm going to at least lower it down to 28 count. And yeah, stamped kits. It's a scenery. I don't know if you can see it there, right here, with apple blossom trees, water, a river, and a walking path. That will be one of the ones that's for the and this is an ocean scene on the stamped. And I also have a Lord's Supper, which I don't know what I did with it, on this as well, on the stamped kits. If I come across it before I get that, I will show it to you. But you can see it's just an ocean scene with the rocks and the waves, and a hiking trail right beside that. This one is actually a fairly large piece. 14 count, so it's going to be 2 over 2, and you end up with it being 50 by 70 centimeters. So the Christmas from this past year, there are several that I want to do in here. Most of what's in here are these littles, and so most of the ones I want to do are on the cover. So I may in December do one of these. I don't know, is my mini for the month? I haven't decided yet. That I bought of the sunflower house from that, like I say, it's not kitted out, but I'm going to give the pattern alone when I reach 50 subscribers, and people are actually interacting on the bottom of the page, so that I know that someone is not just here. It was a book that was in my last haul. I'm not going to open it up and show you, but there are several cross stitches in here, patterns that I really like. Some of these I may not do as counted cross stitch. I may draw them out and do them just on regular fabric, because I like that. This is a Diana Bloom design, and it's called the Snowfall Chickadee. I think this was a giveaway pattern. They're recommending linen by Roxy Floss Co. called Pantone. It's going to be 128 by 128. And it'll finish 8 by 8 inches if you do it on the recommended 32 count. In my stash for a while, but I absolutely love it. I ordered this from Masterpiece, they're called on YouTube. She also has an Etsy shop. And I'm trying to find, this is one of those, it's to do on 28 count Laguna, the graft fabric. And I'm trying to find where it says how big it's giant. It's giant when you get done with it, but look at it. I want to do it. I just don't feel like my experience level is such that I'm ready for it yet. And see how big the pattern is? It's a huge, looking for, I can't even begin to count how much thread there is. There's so many pages of the required thread. So it's going to cost a lot. Well, it says it's going to be in inches. It's 400 by 326 stitches, so it's actually not as big as I thought. And the company, it's called Tibetan Girl. That was designed by someone called Sea of Patterns, and this was sold as a PDF by a company called Stitching Masterpieces on Etsy. And when you're done with it, it's 56.44 centimeters by 46 centimeters. Now, here is another one that's a similar issue, is how much it's going to cost to get kitted up. And it's this one of the wools. And I have fallen in love with gray wools since being in Yellowstone, and that's why this one is in my queue. And this is the same thing. It would be on the 28, it's a complete coverage kit, so it would be on the 28 count for me, even though it says 18 count. I would do it on the 28 count. I don't know. It's originally created for 18 count, which means that would translate into 36 count. So I don't know. We're going to see, because I know she did this on her, I think she did this on her channel. So I want to see if the one she did, because she usually stitches everything on the 28 count. And her stuff is turning out beautiful. It's just all huge. This one's 400 by 248 stitches. It says if you're doing it on 18 count, it will be 56 by 0.44 by 35 centimeters. So, but anyway, it's a big project. And I'm going to have roll frames and stuff, I think. Do the Renford Castle or whatever from Lord of the Rings. I'm going to be ordering that soon. And hopefully getting that kitted out. I'll probably do that before I do these, because I just, for some reason, want to do that castle. Now, this is another one of the Arenco originals with the stained glass, and this one was designed by the original work was done by James Powell and Sons, and she says those were known as the White Friars, so I imagine they were some sort of monks in, you know, yeah, Catholic monks maybe. I'm not Catholic, so I wouldn't know. If you are, you could put it in the comments below if you understand who the White Friars were. Or if you know anything about it, or if you've ever seen these in any of the cathedrals, because I would love to go see them. But this one is Uriel, the Archangel Uriel. And I just love that. So that'll fall in at some point. And here is another William Morris one. This is the Blue Thistle. That'll fall in at some point. Here's another one of the stained glass angels. This is Raphael. Same one, James Powell and Sons. This is another one of the William Morris Arts and Crafts. This is another one of the William Morris. It's the trellis and bird detail. And I believe this is taken out of a larger work. Excuse me, be careful there. So that's gonna, I think that'll be pretty. Here's another one of the archangels. This is the Archangel Michael. Okay. I have this one by Gustav Klimt. A lot of different producers have reproduced this pattern. And while I have no doubt this one is a good pattern, It's one of the ones I bought from Marenco Originals as well. And by the way, I think they do this all the time, whether you order their patterns off Amazon or off of their website. But a lot of times they have better deals on their website. If you want to go to their website to get patterns, you can buy them off Amazon, and you always, if you order 2 charts, you put a 3rd one down, because they're going to send you one for free. If you don't put down what you want, you're just going to get a surprise. So I should have another one somewhere that's in this plastic, that's from them. Don't know where it is. It'll probably run across it later. But anyway, but it might have been this one. No, this one isn't it. I printed this one out. I can tell. But anyway, I think I've decided I want to do a kit that's available that's got some beadwork and things like that on it. I just think it'll look more illustrious that way. And I liked the threads that were with it, and it's going to cost me as much as that kit is to kit this one out. So I'm going to switch over to that kit. It's just nothing that I've got ordered right now, but when I get ready to do that, I will order the kit. Now this is one of the Marenco Originals that I ordered from their website, and they still print them out. They just print them out on a more of a cardstock like paper, at least the covers. So they're still PDF files that are printed out. If you use a program, they will also give you the PDF file for your program when you order the paper ones printed. At least they used to. I don't know if they still are or not. Not all of their patterns come in PDF. They haven't gotten them all set up that way yet. But most of them do. A lot of them do. We'll just word it that. That's probably a better way of wording it. So you could go there. They're a good place for some of these more classic patterns, like William Morris, things like that, if you want them to be on PDF for you. So now most of their patterns, I will say, are patterned out for 14-inch, which would be 28-inch if you carried that out. But a lot of the ones I ordered are complete coverage patterns. So I don't know if they're all complete coverage, but this one's called the Bluebird Detail. So that's another one that's out of a larger picture, a larger piece from that William Morris's piece was originally bigger than that. And what they did was they liked this bird, so they pulled it out and made an individual piece out of that. And I believe that this rose thistle design is the same way, but I'm not sure about that one. But this is also a William Morris piece. So that's that. Now I do have a few more pieces. If I were to truly look around and find them, I have a few more pieces. Some stray patterns and things like that. I just don't know where they are. They could be packed in one of the totes under my bed, which is where a lot of that stuff is. So at some point, if I come across anything, because I'm in the process of going through all my patterns, I will be letting you know. The other thing is I have a lot of books with patterns in them. And I went through a lot of those books on different haul videos. So I'm not going to make people go through them now to divide this video up into 2 pieces. So it's into part 1 and part 2. What I will do instead is when I get ready to do a pattern out of this book, I will get them back out again. But for now, if you wanted to see the most recent books that I got with Leisure Arts books, there's some Better Homes and Gardens books. In my recent haul, those books are there, and I did show some of the patterns. Right now, they're not in my work queue, but there will be, definitely. I don't see always buying patterns when I have a huge assortment of patterns. But yet at the same token, you know, there's some neat patterns that come out. So I don't know. But you can see I have a lot of patterns. And a lot of them are in and huge amounts in this Gift of Stitching magazine. And I do subscribe to Just Cross Stitch. So I get those patterns. And plus there's a couple that I bought. Oh, that leads me. Jane Austen, her birthday. I have a Jane Austen pattern that I'm going to be doing. That has to go in my 15, and it's a big sampler. I'm going to go ahead and pop the picture in right here. And as soon as I get it kitted out, that will become part of my 15 along with that celebration. And her birthday is in December of 2026. I'm thinking I'm going to add that in, that I'll get one of these other patterns done by December, and then I will add in that sampler in December. I'm going to try to do an update on the work I do every 2 weeks. And then whip parades like this, though, they're very long. I don't think I will do them every time for sure. What I will do is most of the time, and then maybe twice a year, the beginning of the year and then midway through the year, that seems to be what a lot of other people do, I will do a whip parade similar to this. But you can see that I have plenty here to keep me busy probably for the rest of my life without ever buying a pattern because of the magazines and the books. But I think I will be buying patterns. I can't help it. As I'm learning what it is that I want to do, my pattern buying will be more focused in those categories. And I always want to have a work of fine art. But that is my mid-year whip and pattern parade. And we will see you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.